Hi, I'm Chris Medeiros. I'm the Senior Director for Strategic Insights here at H1, and I am joined today by Katie Shin, who is the Senior Global Director for Field Medical at Sumitomo America, shortened with SMPA. And we are here for our continued series on customer stories, where we get to walk away with pearls of wisdom by talking with leaders in the life science space that have chosen to use H1 as their preferred HCP platform. So, Katie, I'd love to maybe start by learning a little bit more about your role and how you came to it. I know you've got a really interesting story.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm happy to be here. And so just a little bit about my background. I'm an oncology clinical pharmacist by trade. And my first role was really delving into the oncology clinical practice and seeing patients, so direct patient care. And I was there for about 7, 8 years before I took a step back and I was wondering, what's my next move in life? And so after doing some research, I was fortunate enough to land my first role as an MSL, which, by the way, was my favorite job ever so far.
Yeah.
And so really love the interplay of the MSL role, the communication skills it requires, the scientific teaching piece as well. And then mostly with the interactions I can have with some critical HCPs and therapeutic areas that I was involved with. And so my first role was actually at Sanofi, and it looks like we might have overlapped and crossed paths there. And really from that point on, worked at a couple of big companies, including Bristol Myers Squibb, launching Opdivo Yervoy. So with a lot of different indications. And then also in small biotech companies as well. So that's kind of like my background.
Okay.
And so currently I'm at Sumitomo Pharma America. It is a mouthful, and shortened for SMPA. And I currently, with a lot of different reorganizations and consolidations, I do oversee across therapeutic areas. And it's pretty expansive. When we had a consolidation of actually 7 companies into one, it was quite the undertaking and feat there. And from there, I do have oversight of all the therapeutic areas, including 4 commercial products and a very robust oncology development portfolio, and ranging from urology to women's health to our acute leukemia program to myelofibrosis. So yeah, that's a lot going on, but that's what I'm doing now.
Yes, it is a lot. And there's so much to unpack there. I would love to understand a little bit more about some of the capabilities that H1 had that really stood out for your teams. What were some of the things that your boots on the ground MSL team were really finding valuable?
Sure. Really, the first step was getting everyone aligned, doing the research to make sure that the strategies for the field medical KOL engagement plan, as it relates to our team, is updated. Right. And so where the technology piece comes in and the platform piece comes in is that in order for us to truly allow for the data set to be disseminated to the team to make sure we have the right appropriate HCPs, the strategies, strategic imperatives are appropriate, we really had to identify and work on the front end using the capabilities that H1 had. For example, and this is the beauty of having oversight across therapeutic areas, there are 2 products that in our portfolio that targets urologists.
Right.
But after one of the research I did, and H1 was able to really help me build out a business case for this, as it became a core key performance indicator and objective for the team, is I noticed that about a third of the urologist target also can benefit from an MSL contact.
Oh, interesting.
With this other product that came from a different company. And so from the data pieces that I pulled, the KOL engagement list, I noticed that there's an overlay of urologists. So I did a further investigation with the support of my leadership team. I also leveraged the digital analytics team to help me with the technology piece, and further validated that a third, and this is all from the H1 database, the work that we did with your business partners from there, now is a solidified piece for the field medical execution. It's a piece that I'm actually, excited about, because it pretty much supports the business pillar of the organization's needs now, right? We need to be strategic. We need to be working as a team two teams are separately engaging with two different products, but now there's an opportunity to cross-train the teams. And it helps additionally with it's just like a greater picture of this, because this other team, they wanted some oncology experience.
Absolutely.
And so now they're trained on a prostate cancer drug moving forward, which also helps overall with the people retention and overall culture of what I'm trying to build as well. So that's a clear example of a recent, I guess, success of some of the data sets that I was able to pull out, along with actually a lot more. But this was a more recent one that I'm pretty happy with. And we've executed the training piece, and we were able to validate taking some of that time for this Women's Health Biopharma team to be able to do that.
That's amazing.
Moving forward. So yeah, so super excited about that. And it just further validates the capabilities of your platform that really helps drive strategy.
I'd love to learn a little bit more about the really tight partnership that you have found with your customer success manager. You have a really excellent one. You have really excellent customer success managers anyway, but you've developed a really wonderful partnership with your customer success manager. And I think it's a little bit unique about H1. As you know, coming from my background, I was in a position where I was doing something similar to what you were doing, in that I was vetting different platforms, and I was responsible for choosing the one that was going to give us the best insights. And one thing that I really recognized when I came on board here was how unique our customer success team is, just because they're so invested in our clients and helping them be successful with the platform and get as much out of it as they possibly can. I would love to hear a little bit more about that relationship with you and how that's helped you synchronize all of these moving parts and help you as a strategic partner.
Absolutely. And I think that was one of, honestly, a game changer for me, because like I said, I hadn't worked directly with this platform prior to with the consolidation of the companies. And I was impressed by the individualization of each of the products that I had acquired, the historical knowledge piece and the relationships they've had, and some of the projects they've done in the past that helped me understand, moving forward, if this is the most appropriate platform for the team. So some of that historical knowledge that I didn't have was there, and they were able to navigate it through. So it's more the individualization piece, and it's the fast response time. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to do this research and make some of this quick turnaround decisions, especially as it pertains to the contracting piece. And so that's where I think was the most prominent experience for me, was the individualization piece and the fact that they're always available, and been super impressed by the customer experience overall. And then again, I think the fact that, like, for someone again with like a technology not savvy piece here, is that they were able to draw in individuals within your organization to help me. And I was able to connect individuals from my team, from the digital analytics group, to really build out the strategic imperatives. The KOL engagement opportunities was critical. And that also came from that customer experience that I've been impressed with so far.
That's really great to hear. Yeah. And it sounds like it's an ongoing and evergreen experience. How have you found the trainings customized for your teams? Has that been helpful? I know that
it's been so helpful.
You look at an MSL team, oftentimes you will have a long span of a tenure on a team. And you might have some that are particularly technically savvy, and some that are not as excited about it, right? And so it always becomes a challenge when we introduce a new, technological tool to a team. And how has working with customer success helped you to navigate those challenges and sort of make it a little easier and palatable for your teams to adopt the use of H1 to help them execute their local strategies?
On the front end, as I was going through my research, and part of that was, as medical affairs as a whole, again, because the deliverables, the expectations of each product has now vastly changed, right? Because now we're working for Sumitomo Pharma America, SMPA. And so now we had to do a critical deep dive and assessment of, hey, what's the good strategy that we can move forward with?
Right.
But however, there was a lot that needed to be done from a interfunctional and cross-functional standpoint on how to build on the current strategy. And the MSL team, the field team, were all part of that. Like, everyone was part of this this decision making on what's the best strategy for each product moving forward and plan near term and short term. And so part of that was just understanding the technology piece within H1's capabilities. So there was a fully functional opportunity for me to meet actually with, I don't know if I can say her name, but like Jocelyn. She's been great.
And she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. She's been really like I said, just a really great business partner. And we were brainstorming and I was like, hey, why don't we meet with you and whoever you need to pull in within, of course, compliance is, let me share with you the high level components of our overall strategic imperatives and some of our core communication objectives and spend time with each of those. We have a lot of commercial products and also the early development portfolio as well. And so we spend some time working through and helping her understand our strategic imperatives from like a top-down approach, and then even more granularly, who is our appropriate targets and what is the data dissemination piece that's related to my team, which is the field medical team, which honestly I think is the most important part. And so I spent some time with her and a deep dive, and I think that was a really helpful discussion because I can see her really like brain going off throughout some of these discussions and really understanding what is that component of the training piece, what is the parts of the platform we can pull out. And remember the individualized approach that you guys provide? She was able to cater the training pieces for each of the pillars of my team, each of the products of my team to help them focus on different functionality that will get them to optimize and maximize on their account planning. So I feel like that is a really great example that I've had as far as, the more recent achievements. And now the team can kind of run with it and make a very solid territory business plan. That's what we're calling it in our organization that really works for them. That's individualized. And speaking about it earlier, like you said, was like, how can we get them to align on maximizing said capability? So we're checking in frequently, encouraging the national leads for each of the MSL teams to continue to encourage them to maximize on their functions as we build out. And in a month or so, we're going to be presenting it to executive leadership and giving examples of that. And I'll be highlighting, the platform because we want to make sure they support us on this is, how we leverage that platform to get us there. And I'm thinking forward because I'm thinking forward from like a renewal contract and like opportunities, right? I want executive leadership to be very well aware. We need this continuing forward for the successes of the organization.
It makes me so happy, Katie, to hear that first of all, you're leveraging data to underpin your medical strategy. That is music to my ears. I'm really excited to hear it. Yeah, and we are elated at H1 to continue to grow with Sumitomo and really evolve as your team sort of begins to crystallize and shape its strategy, which wasn't ripped and replaced. It was built upon really thoughtfully. And we are so excited that you've chosen H1, and we're excited to continue to partner with you. So thank you so much for your business, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome.